Zaddy.
Don't you ever film me in portrait mode. That's better. So right now, can you see that I'm not wearing pants?
No. Just your upper body. Well, I mean, if I scroll down.
Do that. This one's not going to be emotional at all.
Doesn't need to be. Just need the facts.
The first memory. It's going to be like Huckleberry Finn reading it in class. I was walking through the hall at the apartment, and I trip over a carpet. People usually recalling these stories say they thought nothing of it, but I freaked out instantly. I was laying in bed for a long time, squirming and panicking. This was around the time of the ice bucket challenge, so I was thinking I was dead. But by assuming the worst, I was actually correct. And then a little bit afterwards, I started getting tremors in my hands, and my legs would start burning after 5 minutes of jogging. Okay. So of course you ignore it. I went to see a few doctors. I went to the glorious South Common Medical Center, and I told them that my muscles felt weak. Well, there's like 300 kids in there, all screaming. And he goes, push up against my arms. And then I did that, and he's like, oh, you're stronger than me, buddy. Go see your family doctor. No one has a family doctor.
I had a family doctor. She prescribed me pills from 1960. Continue.
Most pills are from 1960. They're just a little bit modified. That's back when gynecologists were like, they would see a baby inside of a woman and be like, you're not pregnant, you're just hysterical. Here's some fucking Ritalin. It used to be called Ritalin.
So the 1860s, that you're going back on.
No, that was like 1940 40, 50, 60.
Really?
Yeah. Okay. And then I asked my mom to book an appointment with the doctor. And that took a month because Canada. So that was... At that point I was 17.9 years old. I remember my 18th birthday. I had that succubus girlfriend. I had a pizza from Pizza and a job at Longo's. Life was fucking sick, dude. 17.9 and I had a 22-year-old girlfriend. The first doctor's appointment, Dr. Kadic. So I actually explained to her at home. I'm like struggling to fucking string a sentence together in Bosnian, but I explained to her in great detail in our native tongue what was happening. She said she would test my vitamin B levels. That could cause shaking, but after that, she said she would have to refer me to a neurologist, and then made an expression of what could only be described as a sad emoji face. Like someone, like one of those androids trying to do an expression. Oh yeah, and then I left, and I remember I forgot to tell her about my liver pain that started a year before that, when I got elbowed playing basketball, and I still have that pain. No cause was ever found. I got ultrasounded, I got penetrated with an endoscopy. Nothing. When I arrived at a medical hacienda where I would see many different doctors, I still had hope for the future. This was the main reason I held off on the drugs and stayed in school and didn't begin chronicling my life because of hope. I walk into an office that was made entirely of wood, no more square footage than about 3 bathrooms, and talk to the receptionist through the drive-through window. And no shit, she was working through a drive-through window. It was like, but except it was this big, and that's how you talk to her. It was at my groin level. This doctor belonged in a graveyard, bro. His eyes glazed over like he had cataracts. Short, rail-thin body, at least late 60s. It's like exactly the type of guy that, like, is just there to fucking phone it in and, like, keep busy. Because if he stops working, he will pass away. Just, oh, you got MS, you got this. There's like only 3 diagnoses to ever like repeatedly be treated by a neurologist in Canada. Yeah, and then he did the physical exam, and so it's always the same thing. Push up against my hand, pull my arms towards you, tap your finger to your nose, to my finger, repeatedly. Tell me when the instrument stops vibrating against your foot to test sensation. He did an EMG and then he referred me to a different neurologist. And EMG is basically, they stick needles in your muscles to test the conductivity of them, the nerves. Okay, so the next neurologist I saw, I think it was after another 6 months of waiting. Yeah, it was some woman. And then after the outline that I was running 30 minutes a day, she still claimed, oh, maybe it's because you're out of shape or something. And then this is the first time I ever pushed back. I was like, how can being out of shape cause intention tremors and muscle burning after 5 minutes of exercise, of light exercise? I'm like, how can you know that? And she goes, well, because I have 20 years of experience and you don't. And then that was the first time I was like, the reality was hitting me. I went to that appointment alone, and I just went into the staircase and started crying. Not because I was sad or anything, but just because, like, I should be crying in this scenario. Okay, and then I get sent back to the Draugr, Dr. Stephen McKenzie. I won't use his real name, but his real name is Stephen McKenzie. He sends me for a brain MRI, which are fun. 1 a.m. appointments where you can't move at all in a tube, which I'm completely fine with. Like, no issues, no freaking out. To rule out demyelination. Again, he's checking for MS stuff. Of course, that comes back normal, and then he sends me to another Draugr. I won't use his real name, but his real name is Mark Tarnopolsky at McMaster Hospital. Okay, so he works at the neurometabolic, something like that, disorder department at the McMaster Hospital. And I get there, and there's a woman with her kid, like, slurring her words. You can barely understand her, and no one's paying any attention, and she's talking to the nurse, setting an appointment for 2 years into the future. It was like 2016 or something, and she's like, okay, we'll put you in for
God.
for March something 2018. And she leaves with her kid. And this office is beautiful. It's littered with newspaper clippings of this dude's accomplishments. His history as a track runner. His deep dive explanation of why of slow twitch and fast twitch muscle fibers, and how that's why he would lose to this guy who would smoke before racing, and he would still beat him by like a large margin because he had more fast twitch muscles, to the point where he said he even tested his own thigh muscles to see what percentage were slow twitch and what percentage were fast twitch. So he's a good guy. He's a real humble dude. And then I see the first the assistant doctor, the Polish dude. He was like the holy grail. He was the perfect doctor, kind. He was like caring, listening to everything I was saying. But he was just setting me up for the Napoleon of the establishment. Yeah. And then he was okay at first. Like, he said we would just have to order some specialized metabolic tests like thyroid and things like that. That would take some time. And I remember I told him I'm having trouble breathing lying down, and he just said you should probably see a respirologist about that. And then I took the bus home. And that was that. Summer 2017. That's when I noticed my shoulders would move without nuance, just up and down, no fine, or I guess my whole arms, no fine control of them, or less control of them. And then I would again, I noticed everything, because I was a 6'7", 2 meter tall skateboarder. I had fine control and very good knowledge of my own body. Basketball, skateboarding, I was Zac Efron. I remember explicitly, or vividly, going to KFC when I noticed that. And I was like, it was probably just a KFC.
The KFC made your shoulders fucked up.
The KFC made me start losing control of my muscles. That's when I said fuck it, and I'm just gonna Hail Mary it and go for the holy grail of tests and get my entire genome sequenced at the Smith Family Clinic for Genomic Medicine. Those people were so nice. Y'all need anything? And we drove 1,300 kilometers to Alabama. First I tried to just ship them a sample of my blood, and it didn't get there in time. The sample had gone bad the first time, sending it from Canada. So we drove to the US border And of course, my dad forgot his passport, so I had to walk over a box of blood samples across what's that bridge called?
The Rainbow Bridge.
The Rainbow Bridge. To the American border. And I'm holding on for dear life to this box while the wind is like 150 kilometers per hour. And I get there and they're like, border control's like, what's in the box? I'm like, blood. You can open it up if you want, but that's just going to be an inconvenience to me because it took me a long time to tape this up. And they were like, there's no reason to lie about that. you can go ahead. And then I get to the American side of Niagara Falls, and it's like tumbleweed. And I go to I find the post office to mail the blood samples from the US so it gets there faster. And I walk into some 7-Eleven or something, and everybody is dressed in camo, and there's a dog lying in the corner. And I go, can one of you fine gentlemen please... Oh, hey, can one of you fine gentlemen direct me to the nearest post office, eh? And they're like, it's just down the street. I'm like, thank you. Have a good day. I get to the post office, whatever, I mail it. I think it still gets fucked, and we have to drive, and they have to take the sample directly. And during that time, I was scrambling to find a medical loan. It would have been $10,000. But they saved my ass. They had a charity fund set up, and they said I qualified for that, so it was completely free. And we did the drive. Ohio had bowling ball sized hail and purple lightning when we drove in. Then we went to White Castle, which was disgusting. Slept a little bit and then continued. Dr. Bick, he was the head genomer, and they only like once you get there, it's like at that point it's just to know what you're suffering from, and they only diagnose like 30% of cases, and the analysis takes like 3 months or something.